What's going on YouTube? Today I'm here with Scott Casterline, owner of Team Sports Agency. Scott's been a certified NFL agent for now over 43 years, correct? And he's
I've been certified since '87.
87?
Yeah,
Okay,
I started before that.
gotcha. And he's been able to negotiate over $3 billion worth of NFL player contracts. We're going to ask him 10 rapid fire questions just to understand his history in the sports agency and how he's been successful. And this is somebody who has strong expertise, and I'm really excited to hear his answers and the gems he's about to drop on us in this video. So, the first question is, how did you get into the sports agency world?
Well, I got the sports agency in 1983. I was an athlete at Baylor, played football and baseball. One of my roommates got drafted by the Raiders.
Okay.
And in the course of him interviewing agents, the agents would call our department, and I'd kind of screen the calls. And one of them picked up, I played 2 sports in the Southwest Conference, and offered me a job.
Okay.
And that was the summer of '83.
Gotcha. So that's a nice start. And so another question is, what is the biggest misconception that families have about what a sport agent actually does?
Well, I don't think a lot of people know what a sports agent does. So it's new to a lot of families. We try to educate when we meet them. But what we do basically is we manage a player's career,
Gotcha.
including negotiating his contracts, which are vitally important.
Gotcha. So, so would you say that negotiation is kind of the most important part about being a sports agent?
Well, I think it's overlooked, but we do a really good job in negotiations. We have for a long time. It's personal to me.
Yeah.
Our job is to get fair value and to make it objective and get fair value. A lot of times we have to create the market and show why the player's valued here.
So I know it takes a lot to go into negotiation and meet with NFL GMs, scouts, things like that. What would you say is the most money that you've helped negotiate for a single athlete?
Let's take that separately. Relationships are very important, and those are things that are cultivated through the years.
Yeah.
So now when we go talk to a team, or even talk to a college GM in NIL, people know who we are. They know our reputation is solid. They don't really jack around, and we usually get to where we need to get pretty quickly because both sides are experienced. That's where your reputation comes into play, and what have you done, and your ability to negotiate and execute, decide when a contract is good. So that's part one. Second part, I probably have done closer to $3 billion, not $2 billion.
Okay. In total contracts.
Total contracts.
Okay.
And probably the one with the most monies would be Michael Brockers. We negotiated over $100 million easily for him in contracts, including making him, because he was the highest paid inside defensive tackle. He was a shade in the league for 2 years. It's tough to do. But we've had 4 players become the highest paid at their position. And that's the mark of having a good agent. If you have a player that deserves it, it's our job to go create it.
Okay. And now I know that things are kind of changing now with NIL and the college players being able to make money before they get to the league, and sometimes even make as much money as they would their rookie contract year.
Yeah, sure.
So what would you say, from your expertise and your experience being in the industry, what separates athletes who maximize NIL from the ones who leave money on the table?
Well, the ability of the agent is crucial. It's critical.
Yeah.
You've got to have an agent who's certified, even when you're dealing with NIL. I think you need to have that backing or that credential, and you need the experience. So players that are leaving money on the table are ones with inexperienced NIL agents.
Okay.
NIL agent is not good for this industry. You got kids running out there fresh out of college, sometimes not even out of college, trying to negotiate big league deals with college GMs, and they don't know how to set the market. They don't know the market, but we do. I mean, we talk to college GMs almost daily, year round. A lot of college GMs came from the NFL. They've worked back to that spot, which is a great position.
So would you say that it's important for players to have an NFL certified agent over somebody who's just, like you said, an NIL agent, because they don't really understand the
NIL agent has no regulation.
Yeah.
You usually don't have any experience.
And anybody can just become an NIL
Anybody can. So that's not good for the industry. It's not good for the players. I can't tell you how many times that Matt and I were talking to college GMs this past cycle. Hey man, thank God you guys are involved. This NIL agent, they tell us stories about how they handle business or don't handle business because they don't know what they're doing.
Exactly.
And I heard that 4 or 5 times this year.
I'm not gonna lie, I heard the same thing too, because I took my little brother on an official visit, and the GM was talking about he really doesn't like dealing with NIL agents. He would rather deal with like just a family or maybe somebody who's certified that knows what they're doing.
Yeah, that's true.
So
it makes a lot easier process, and we know what value is, and value at each school may be a little different. But it's our job to discern and negotiate and figure it out.
What would you say is a question that families should be asking agents that they usually don't ask, or kind of puts them in a bad position if they don't ask beforehand?
Well, number one, are you certified? Because that credential is important. That means we have to be regulated and pass our NFLPA or go to NFLPA meetings every year for our learning process. And that's the number one question you should ask. Number two, what experience have you done? What experience, how many deals have you done? Who have you dealt with specifically? And what was the outcome? I doubt most of them can tell you a good story or have a good outcome. They just don't, it's a mark of the generation change, but you just can't come out of school and do this. It took me a long time, and I got good at it because I've worked at it. I did all the things necessary to become a better negotiator. I hired people, went to classes, took courses. It was important to me.
Yeah, I think you mentioned, because I know we were talking about this the other day, you said that you took a course from Dr. Phil to even learn negotiation and things like that. So
yeah, I did. Dr. Phil is back in Dallas, but prior to going to Hollywood, he was in Dallas.
Okay.
And he had a litigation support service company.
Yeah.
And my father used them.
Okay.
And they're like jury psychologists.
Gotcha.
And Phil was great. I went to a couple of his courses that he had for groups. And finally I asked him, I said, hey, I'm young, I want to get better at doing what I'm doing, negotiating contracts. Can you teach me? And it really was his ability to read people. And that's what I was looking for, and how to carry myself in a negotiation. And I had some big ones. I was young, but I had some big contracts coming up. And he really helped me. He's a really smart guy.
And how old were you at that time again? You said you were
25, 26.
So you were still pretty early on.
Yeah, it was early in my career, but I had some really big clients, and a couple of them were coming up for big contracts. So I wanted to do everything I could to prepare.
Yeah, that says a lot about you and your job. Being so young at that age, and being able to hey, I want to invest in myself and my career and go learn from somebody like that, from that stature. So
you got to put in the work, and I don't see a lot of people doing that anymore. It's, like I said, Matt and I do contracts together. He's the second best agent I've ever seen.
Yeah, for sure. Since I've been working with you guys, I've kind of realized how much the learning curve is going to be. So, I've just really been enjoying sitting in on calls with you guys and, learning how you guys negotiate and like structure deals and things like that. So I think, it's just
well, we want you to. If you'll be patient, you'll start learning a lot.
Yes, sir.
And then I want to get you in a position where you're an agent.
Yes, sir.
And that'll come. It's just, it takes time. I think what I know about you and your family. You're from the old school way of thinking, and
Yes, sir.
that's a good trait.
Yeah.
You're grounded.
Yes, sir.
You know it's a process. It's a process that can be good for all of us.
Yes, sir. So let's transition to the next question. So have you ever turned down representing an athlete, and what made you do that? If you did, what made you do that? Like, what are some red flags that you look for whenever you're looking to bring on a new client?
Yes, I have, and I don't want to give specific names, but
Gotcha.
I look for character. You know, and you know, it doesn't take long. You sit down and talk to somebody, you can figure out where they're coming from and what's behind them. I look at their family, family support, how they were raised, what their goals are. I turned down one guy who ended up being a first-round pick recently because I asked the question, where does football rank in your life? Like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Football was like number 6 in this guy's life.
Wow.
And so I tracked back his reputation in college with some coaches, and it wasn't good.
Yeah.
It was like, yeah, football's not important to him. I remember asking kid's father, like, you know, he said, my son just plays because he knows he can make money at it.
Gotcha.
That's not a good answer.
Yeah, that is.
Man, it's cutthroat when you get to the league.
Yeah.
You know, you've got to like learn to get better. You got to be on top of your game. Michael Brockers was a great example of that. He got better. I remember after his first year, he's first-round pick, 14th pick to the Rams. His first year, he kind of did his way in his training. The second year, he called me and said, "Look, I got to get better. I feel the responsibility of being a first-round pick here." He said, "I know you know what to do, Scott. I want you to put it around me and don't be easy on me."
Yeah.
And we did.
Yeah.
And he had a great spring and summer. And that fall, Randy White, one of our clients and my best friend, and I went to see him play the first game in St. Louis. They were playing Seattle.
Yeah.
And Mike had 13 tackles from the nose guard, 0-1. 13 tackles, including the game-winning starting. He stopped Marshawn Lynch 3 yards deep on like fourth and goal, fourth and short, to win the game. The next day, John Snyder, the Seahawks GM, called me. That was back in Dallas, I think. He said, "Scott, what in the hell did y'all do with Michael Brockers?" All I saw was arms and movement. And Randy White was a big part of that, like learning how to use your hands, which set Randy apart to the Hall of Fame. But Brock took that, and that's the drive he had. And then the next big contract we did for him became the highest paid. He felt like he needed to live up to that, and he kept getting better. So that's what I look for in a player.
Yeah, and if you just think of football as just a way to make some extra money, you're not going to be able to push through it and fight through when things get harder for you. So
you got to stay on top of your game because every year you got the draft and new players coming in. And it's become a younger league. You may have 7 or 8 high-paid players, high-paid, and then the rest are minimum salary type. So you always got to stay on top of your game.
Yeah. So another question: do you think that with the college players making so much money, like I said, almost sometimes as much as they would as their rookie year, what advice would you give to them to be able to balance that and still be able to have that drive and hunger to want to be the best athlete and want to be the top guy in the NFL?
I try to have those kind of conversations with them a lot. Stay grounded. I like to see how they respond to a big contract.
Yeah. And
the responsibility that comes with that. So that goes back to our interview process when we're talking to players. I'm looking for those traits early. Because, once a guy hits a big contract, he's not there mentally. He's not going to last long in the league. So I look for those traits. We do. And we pick some good players. Some really good guys, driven, humble. A lot of our players are from this area, Texas and Louisiana. Usually, most of those kids are pretty grounded, just from their parents.
For sure.
So that's helpful.
Okay. So, I know we have the contract side of things, revenue share, things of that nature. How important do you think that marketing is, and building a personal brand and social media in this new day and age is for the athletes now coming around? Do you think that plays a big part, and that's something that they should be building? That's gonna make their market value a little higher, or how do you think that ranks right now for
Well, as far as building your social media, I think that's number one, criteria a player needs to focus on. Because as you know, as you start doing NIL deals and dealing with sponsors, they're looking for what do they get out of it? What's the player's following?
Exactly.
They want views.
Yeah.
So that's very important. That's something you do here really well. And most of the players we talk to with you, they're getting it. We've done it in the past, but I think with bringing you in, it's going to make us that much better because it's going to really help build these brands.
Yes, sir.
The sooner you can start, the better.
Yeah, for sure.
Some players don't want to do it, so you just got to balance it. Like, okay, this is the trade-off. If you don't, your ability to have bigger deals is going to be based upon your following and what you put out there. And then it makes our job fun. Makes it easier.
Yeah. I seen a video the other day. Do you know who Livy Dunn is? The gymnast. Well, she was like one of the biggest NIL figures, but she was talking about how when she was younger, she started 10 years old and she was just recording herself doing workouts and things of that nature. And that's kind of how she started building her brand. So, like you said, starting as early as possible. I think that's what athletes should be doing. And when they take their visits, going on a college visit, just film some content behind the scenes and things of that nature, because little kids really love watching that. Grown people like watching the behind the scenes, seeing how a college program is ran. And what would you say is the biggest mistake that you made in this business, and what did it teach you?
I feel bad about 1 year of a contract I did in 1988, maybe. The team, it ended up being the highest paid player, but we went 1 year more than I would have liked on the term.
Yeah.
And the team kind of talked the player into doing it. But I take responsibility for that. But it ended up getting him out of that team. He was the first free agency class. And we moved to the Raiders on a big deal, and he's 33 years old, became the highest paid cornerback in football. He was a great player.
Yeah.
But just the value of term is really important. How long is the contract?
Yeah.
I saw one of the quarterbacks did an extension recently, multiple years, tagged on, and it's always been that way. It's, it looks good, but you got to know what you're doing, structuring a contract. The goal is to get you to the marketplace as many times as you can get there, as soon as you can get there.
Gotcha.
Balancing, upfront money and guaranteed money, and then guaranteed money is real important. I haven't seen a lot of good contract structures lately from on the industry side, and that's vitally important.
Yeah.
What's a real guarantee? You can have conditional guarantees that make it look good, but they're probably not going to happen, versus real guarantees.
What's one piece of advice for every parent watching right now who has a kid that's chasing a scholarship right now? What would you recommend that they do, and steps to take?
Well, number one, have a plan. You want to strategically hit all the camps you could hit, but be ready for those camps, because your performance counts.
Yeah.
Some of the, depending where you are, some of them you don't need to run, some you do. But have a plan and have somebody who's experienced to guide you in that. So, a Legacy Coaches Network is a good place if you can find that. They use former coaches, retired coaches, to help players to make a plan. Okay, here's our plan. We're trying to get to here. We need to do these camps. We need to go on campus here. Strategically align their visits. Just have a plan. Again, Legacy Coaches Network is a good place to start. And start early.
They're on Instagram. I'm sure. So I'm sure put the app on it. So, So that's the 10 questions. This is somebody who knows what he's talking about. He has the expertise. He's been through it. He's been through it for a long time now. So he's seen the industry from every level, from back then to now. So this is somebody that you should really listen to and take advice from. So Scott, just wanted to thank you for having time to sit down with me and speak to the audience. And drop your gems, everything that you've learned. Is there anything that you want them to leave you from?
Yeah, I just say
leave them with.
Selecting an agent is very important.
Yeah.
And the things I would look for from parents or the player is expertise, how long you've been doing it, who have you dealt with, what kind of contracts you negotiated, what's your reputation. Our reputation everywhere is really good. I get a lot of respect. We do get a lot of respect in the league, NFL, and in colleges. So that transition, we have clients in high school to college, college transfers, college, and NFL. And it's fun for me because we're negotiating year round. And job, placement of the player is real important, especially you're selecting a college coming out of high school. Where you're going to go, what the coaches look like, who's your champion on that team, who wants you there, how are they going to utilize you? Are they going to allow you to play as a freshman? And that's something Matt and I have to discern. Like, you got to be able to trust the people you're dealing with.
That's right.
Most of them that I've dealt with have been very good experiences and a lot of mutual respect, but experience, parents, players, experience matters. Credentials matter. How long you've been doing it matters. Don't go for an NIL agent. I would run if you find somebody that says, I'm NIL agent. It's just not good for anybody.
Yeah, I've heard a lot of horror stories.
There may be good intent. Those guys are not, they're green. They don't know what they're doing. I heard some NIL agents poaching players in the college transfer portal say, hey man, I can get you $500,000 a year. And they don't say where. They don't have a plan. You got to know the market before you get to the market.
Exactly.
And they call these teams, and GMs tell me. And they threw out a number like, where'd you come up with that number? Well, that's what it's going to take. And they had the player, specifically one player, enter the portal before he even knew the agent, NIL agent, knew what this market was. You can't do that. He lost value by doing that.
And don't forget too the percentages that they're charging. Like some agencies, they're charging just ridiculous.
Yeah, again, it's unregulated, so some agents are charging 2 to 3 times what we charge.
I've heard about it. So
I think players as a whole, families are getting more educated on it. We spoke at Baylor about this very thing recently. We're honored to be called down there to talk to parents about NIL versus a certified NFL agent.
Exactly.
Which we do both. But we got a lot behind us.
Okay. So where can the people find you on social media? What's your @ for them to follow you?
At Scott Casterline.
Okay.
Or at Team Sports Agency.
Gotcha. Okay, well, that's it for you guys. Scott Casterline again. Thank you for taking time out, and I'll see y'all in the next one.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.